Not all master grades are made equal, and the model kit we're taking a look at today makes sure everybody knows it. Welcome everyone, in this video we'll be checking out the legendary master grade Sazabi VerKa. In my last video, we looked into the master grade new Gundam VerKa. It only makes sense that we also check out its rival, the Sazabi. This has been my dream model kit ever since I found out about it around 5 years ago, so I'm ending this year strong with the absolute monster of a master grade. Before we talk about the box art, I just want to show the damage the shipping service did on this. I was so disappointed when the package arrived smushed. The experience of getting my dream kit absolutely tainted. Has this ever happened to you? Please tell me about it in the comments. I would love to hear that I'm not the only one that has felt this way. Taking a look at the box, you can see that it's pretty much 2 times the size of a regular master grade. I remember seeing this in toy store shelves and just thinking that this kit looks freaking awesome. Now, going into the details of the box, it has this huge print of Katoki's design of the Sazabi. We have the model number and the suit specifications. As usual, we have the sides of the box which show a cropped box art. One side of the box shows the accessories, the front and rear view of the kit, and some images of the gimmicks built into it. On the opposite side, we have some text that I can't read, but I'm pretty sure a phone can translate that, and then some other standing poses of the fully built kit. Sadly, this premium master grade doesn't include a stand or base in the kit. I know this kit is amazing all by itself, but I really just think people would appreciate spending their money on model kits and already having everything they need to fully enjoy it. Opening the box, you can really get an impression of how much impact this kit will have for a collection. Even the packaging needs a card partition to support the box's shape. This box has 14 bags of runners, and as I was opening them, the whole time I was just feeling the intimidation and the excitement. There are at least 30 runners in this build, most of which are full-sized sheets. Immediately I noticed the different shades of red. I guess it keeps the model from looking like a single lump of red. This kit also comes with so many runners of inner frame, but they break apart the monotony as well with some silver pieces. Of course, this kit is a VerKa, so there's a big sheet of water slide decals that again, I'm gonna save for when I fully paint this kit. We also have a small sheet of matte finish color correcting stickers, as if we needed even more color separation. But that's it for all the bare contents. Let's assemble this thing. So here's the Sazabi VerKa completely assembled. As somebody that primarily builds master grades, I have to say that this is really something else. Even with no panel lining or any added details, the Sazabi looks absolutely awesome. This VerKa is way more stylized than its anime counterpart, so anime accuracy enthusiasts, maybe you won't like this design. This packs in so much worked in detail, even more than the new Gundam VerKa. Like we saw in the beginning, it has multiple shades of red, with pops of yellow all over that breaks through all the red nicely. And even some silver here and there. I think it looks great to match the new Gundam VerKa. And like the new Gundam VerKa, the armor also has an alternate mode. Let's go check it out. This form adds a lot more visual breaks in the armor, with more exposed silver parts and thrusters. It's so satisfying to see open hatches that show mechanical detail. It gives the model a whole other dimension. You should take note though, if you're worried about shelf space, this form makes the Sazabi even wider than it already is. But if you like big gunpla like I do, you definitely should be considering getting a Sazabi VerKa. Just to give you an idea how it stacks up with other Gunpla, here it is with a few others from my collection. The Master Grade Granddad 3.0, the High Grade G-Quax Gang, the Pliobot Gurren Lagann, another Xeon Master Grade on the bigger side, the Master Grade Cublé, my Gundam Gashapon, an Energizer, a Fake Plant, the Master Grade Charzaku 2 2.0, the Master Grade Charzagok, the Master Grade Hyakushiki 2.0, definitely not Char, and the Sazabi's rival, the Master Grade New Gundam VerKa. It's bigger than the New Gundam, and much bigger than anything else in my collection. Let's check out the accessories. This kit comes with axe sword things and beam sabers, a shield, a shotgun, and a really long rifle. It also has a half dozen of funnels already stored in the backpack. All the handheld accessories are secured in the hands using the flip-out tabs that slot into the equipment handles. So looking closer at each accessory, it comes with 2 beam sabers with bright effect parts that have nice detail on them, and you can store them or use for attack poses in the wrists. We get 2 beam tomahawks with the same color effect parts. I personally prefer axe-like weapons myself as opposed to swords, so I appreciate this a lot. But if you feel the lack of length, there are longer effect parts to turn it into a sword axe thing. And if that's still not enough for you, you can combine both tomahawks and even add one of the beam saber effects in the middle for an over-the-top big sword. We're actually not done with the axes, but let's take a look at the shield first. It's huge. Dare I say, very mungus. Heck, it's even longer than regular sized mobile suits. Looking closer though, it has a lot of detail, even has rockets. It has this attachment part that lets you adjust the shield when it's on the mobile suit. This shield can also clip under the shoulder armor when in open hatch mode. It also has this attachment point for storing the beam tomahawks, or for while using them while they're in the shield. Now let's check out the ranged weapons. We get a pretty cool looking shotgun. It has an adjustable swinging handle, and towards the front you can act out some pumping action. A unique Gunpla accessory, but it has a lot of nubs to clean up. Now let's take a look at the long beam rifle. Not my favorite design, but looks okay. It has a fin at the front that swings up, and it has a retractable stock, making it even longer. It also has some seams to be worked on at the stock and underneath the main segment. I'm not very excited about this rifle's looks, but it does have an interesting Easter egg. You can attach a Master Grade Sinanju bazooka underneath to make it an even more imposing weapon. Kinda sad that you can't do this straight out of the box, just like putting it on its own action base, but it definitely adds to the cool factor. For some extras, we get some pilot figures. You get a regular standing pilot figure, and then this one in the cockpit is actually the only seated pilot figure you get. There's actually no pilot figure of Char in the head of this thing. But I guess it's pretty fun to recreate the scene of the New Gundam holding this cockpit after it obliterates the Sazabi. Lastly, we also have the 6 funnels in the backpack. You can pull them out and have them open, but they just stay in the backpack for my Sazabi at least, because it doesn't come with any effect parts or mounting accessories. I'm still kinda bummed out about that. I'm also annoyed at the fact that it does not come with its own action base adapter. It already doesn't come with its own stand, why can't I also have the adapter? I had to find this in my Freedom 2.0 box, but I found out it also comes in the Action Base 1. So if you somehow get one of these, I suggest taking off the Sazabi's backpack and then clipping it onto the attachment point. I pretty much haven't removed this even when I don't have the kit displayed on a stand, since it's kinda hidden anyway. This is also compatible with Bandai's LED units, so you can have the mono eye light up for added visual appeal. I use a third-party magnet switch LED unit because Bandai's own lights are kinda trash. I can't really recommend an Amazon link for these though, because even the third-party ones on Amazon are pretty darn expensive. But if you manage to get one for yourself, it'll look pretty cool. All in all, this kit is massive, and it gives you tons of accessories to play around with. But the lack of care they put into letting you display it on an action base is pretty sad. Before we talk about the build, if you've enjoyed this review of the Master Grade Sazabi VerKa so far, please leave a like below. And if you've watched more than one of my videos, please consider subscribing. It would really help a lot. Thanks. Now let's talk about how this big model kit is put together. After building master grades throughout my whole Gunpla collecting lifetime, there's just something about this build that really does feel special. It's actually not all that complicated. I think the Wing Zero and the Gundam Thunderbolt were much more complex, but because the size of the parts you're putting together are collectively just big, it really leaves a lasting memory, and I love it for that. You might be intimidated by the number of runners, but the actual number of pieces aren't actually that many. The pieces are just big, that's why they had to split them up into more runners. Some of the build gets repetitive though, like with the waste pipes and the funnels. Another thing, the joints have polycaps, so you just have to be more careful not to overuse those joints so they don't become wiggly. This kit reminded me that I really hate repetitive builds, but other than that, this was really fun to put together. Okay, moving on with the review, let's take a look at this hunk of plastic. Starting with the head, there's a peg with light piping going down into the chest. Inside the chest is where the LED unit is. So that peg lets the head swivel left and right. It doesn't really go all the way around. Something about the construction just doesn't let it do it. Here it is looking down. That's pretty much it looking up. So not the most dynamic head articulation there is, but at least it can look side to side. Now the shoulder joint, it's pretty identical to what the new Gundam VerKa has. It has multiple points of articulation that makes it swing outward so that the arm can reach across farther. But before we get to the actual arm, let's talk about the shoulder armor. You can see it's kind of floppy because it's connected into the arm instead of just the body. It's similar to the new Gundam VerKa, but just because of the size and the weight of the Sazabi's shoulder armor, it tends to get dislodged from that connection a lot, at least in my case. But there it is, it can hinge upward. This other flapping piece in the shoulder armor can also hinge upward. Now getting into the actual arm articulation, it can get up pretty much this far up, and with that other joint, it can get even higher. Of course, the shoulder's on a peg, so it can go all the way around. We have a double jointed elbow with some hydraulic moving action. So here it is, fully bent. Yeah, this kind of gets annoying if you don't work on putting it back into the connection. There we go. So the hands are pretty much identical to the new Gundams as well, except that the proportions of this have more of a round aesthetic to them instead of the blocky ones for the new Gundam VerKa. Each knuckle can articulate, so it can pretty much do whatever your hand can do except for like curling up this way like a cylinder. Now moving on to the torso, it's basically one big ball joint at the base of the hips. You can kind of tilt it side to side or whatever. It can go all the way around. Yeah, no amazing ab crunches here. The front skirt is just on one ball joint and it's kind of offset to the side, and that allows you to fold it up like so. Not super extensive, but it's pretty good. Side skirt is also on a ball joint. It can fold up like so. So the huge back skirt can also kind of hinge up and down, but not a lot. Before we go to the legs, let's take a look at the backpack. The backpack itself doesn't do much, but the funnel compartments can hinge up and down and swivel left and right like so. So this is it fully spread out and fully folded in. And you saw it in the transformation, you can open up the hatches like so. And the fuel tanks are just on ball joints, but you can't really point them around too much. Okay, back to the hips. You can see that there's a swinging mechanism that can move the actual ball joint forward for the hips, giving it more range of motion for where you need it. So here's the leg fully hinged forward, pretty good. And with the ball joint swung forward, you can get the back kick just about this much because of the huge back skirt getting in the way, as well as just the proportion of the lower leg. It's just really chunky. And then for the knee bend, I actually think it's pretty good. It can bend all the way folded like so. Really nice. We have this knee armor that kind of wiggles there. It doesn't really do much. For the feet, there's actually an ankle part. There's a ball joint into the lower leg, and then there's another ball joint into the foot. Even though there's like a huge combination in there, you only get this much in terms of the ankle swivels. So here's the foot fully folded down, but it also has the toe bend, and then we have another toe bend down there. We also have some grapple hook action for latching onto the asteroid, like in the scene where the Sazabi fights the new Gundam. Even under the feet, you can see that this model kit just has so much detail. Even under the crotch, there's just more thrusters. Yeah, like the new Gundam, the articulation is pretty basic. You get a nice range of motion for the elbow and knee bends, and really good in the shoulders. But the rest, like the hips or the waist, there's pretty much nothing. It can't even do the split because of the ball joint hips. It's pretty much this far out, and then that's it. It would have been amazing for a model kit this big to do like super dynamic poses, but I guess the appeal for getting the Sazabi VerKa is the imposing size that it has, and then all the details built into it. Posing the master grade Sazabi VerKa is a bit challenging. The articulation is good enough, but because of the size of it, plus the moving hatch gimmicks, you'll always want to be careful about moving it around. If you're scared to move it around, honestly just put it in a subtle pose and it would still look magnificent. If you work up the courage to move it around though, it would really stand out even more from your collection. But whichever you choose, if it's a slashing, shooting, or just standing Sazabi, it would look awesome no matter what. Overall, the Master Grade Sazabi VerKa is a really good looking model kit with decent articulation. The build does take a while, but it's not as difficult as you might initially think. It's a build I'd recommend for people that just want to try building something that stands out from the rest of their collection. There are a few things I find it lacks, but with the gimmicks and accessories, getting the Sazabi VerKa does pay off. Having it in any pose would definitely make it a good display piece. With all the pros and cons, if you're a fan of the Sazabi or you just think this kit looks good in general, I'd say the Master Grade Sazabi VerKa would be a very good addition to your collection. Thanks for watching. If you've built this kit or have thoughts on it, let me know in the comments. Speaking of comments, I want to give a quick shout out to Pato El Pato 5540 for leaving the first comment in my previous video. Finally, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more builds and reviews. See you in the next one.